have a feeling that people are going to be debating the Gunther John Cena tap out thing for a while, as you should. It's fun, it's exciting, that's exactly what a porous of entertainment should do to your brain. But if this Raw is anything to go by, what I am taking off the table is no one is allowed to debate if Gunther was the right guy anymore. Because my gosh, the ring general walked out onto Monday Night Raw and he has become Darth Vader, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. And also CM Punk went totally crazy on this show too. There was some real highlights and there was some real silly stuff as well. That is what we are going to talk about today. Please do like the video, share the video and subscribe. And if you do go to patreon.com/Simon316 right now, you can check out my watch along of my last fight at Progress Wrestling with Charlie Sterling. That's when I busted open my face by accident, and it helps me support all my stupid YouTube stuff as well. But do whatever does make sense for you. But as of right now, we are talking about Montag Night Raw. But yes, we will start off chronologically by complete accident because I want to talk about Gunther. But he kicked off the show and man, he just got booed and booed. I saw some people on social media going, well, he didn't get booed as much as Roman Reigns after WrestleMania 33. Comparison is the thief of joy, my friends. You don't ever need to do that. Just enjoy it for what it was. People were booing him every time he opened his mouth. You could see kids be like, I am going to hurt you so bad. One day I thought it was wonderful. And he didn't overstay his welcome. He literally said, I told you I was going to do exactly what I did go and do. I made John Cena tap out like a little bitch. He then laughed, he smiled, he pretended he was going to leave, he came back, he stood on top of Al in the announce table, and he said it again. I thought it was great. It didn't need to be more than this. He's already done the deed. And all he needs to do now for the next probably 42 years is tell you he is the guy that only retired John Cena, but he made him give up. Your hero who said for 23 years, I'm never going to give up. Well, he did when it came to Gunther. I really do think this has taken Gunther to the next level. And given that we then tease he may retire AJ Styles, I'll talk about that in just 1 second. By the end of 2026, he could be an absolute behemoth. I'm just so excited about it. This was a fun segment, right? It did exactly what you would want it to do. Gunther does have a new edge about him. Not Adam Copeland, he went to AEW, but he almost looked different. I even looked at his hair, and his hair looked a little bit more slick than usual, which makes no sense. I'm totally making this up in my brain. But I don't want to say it did make me excited. It made me excited for the future. Now, again, as I've said on 2 videos now that you can check out from yesterday and Sunday, I still would have had John Cena win. I'm much more into warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum moments in my old age. But given what we did get and seeing the fallout of it, I thought it was pitched perfectly until Gunther decided to leave and the camera followed him backstage. Now, most of this was great. Otis and Tozawa being disgusted with him, awesome. R-Truth being close to tears, awesome. And even Anna Pierce being annoyed at the way Gunther was reacting to this was totally fine. When he told him to leave the building, I was like, no, don't take him off the television screens. Now, listen, you're allowed to be like Simon, you're being way too nerdy about this, and I would understand. But sometimes these things happen. Maybe I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. But I just think if someone has done something heinous and you're in, kayfabe charge of the show, become a dick to him, right? Come up with challenges, come up with obstacles that he has to face. He could have, I said this on Ups and Downs for What Culture. Check it out if you want my beat-by-beat review. Tozawa was right there. I mean, why you would have picked, maybe Otis would have made more sense because he's more intimidating, but you could have done Otis versus Gunther and Gunther totally destroys him in 10 seconds. Now, I like Otis, and I don't think WWE uses enough of him, but sometimes it's not your night, kid, right? And you just have to use whatever is there. You can just sell it as Big Mountain Man also gets chopped to death by Gunther, and he probably would have to tap out in a choke as well. But it's not like he's doing anything else. And actually, WWE saved it because we had that segment with AJ Styles. But I don't know, there was something about this. I think I'm being a nerd. I am being a nerd. But we see such heinous acts on Raw and nobody cares. Like we had Division talking about we're definitely going to get involved in the main event. And you had Grayson Waller getting involved in the New Day tag team match. But that's totally fine. But Gunther winning the John Cena tournament and beating John Cena, saying I'm going to tap you out and then being like, well, I did say I was going to do this and calling him a bitch. It's so tame compared to everything else. The heat comes from the fact it was John Cena. That wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't to my taste, but I'm sure. Is it a big deal? No. It doesn't change anything because, yes, Gunther was fine to leave. Why not? He's still getting paid. What the hell does he care? AJ Styles was by the car. Somehow he knew this was going to happen, so maybe he was responsible for this. He looked at Gunther like he was trash. Gunther gets in the car, does the "you can't see me" chant. His face was picture perfect, which is, again, another reason why he's the right choice for this. Not everyone could just pull off the correct facial expression. The big tease being, unless I've made this up in my head, which I could have done, that AJ Styles has said he's going to retire in 2026. Maybe Gunther's going to retire here. Maybe Gunther's going to retire Brock Lesnar. I saw another criticism saying, oh, well, he's 38 years old. I'm pretty sure Brock Lesnar was around about that age when he did his thing to The Undertaker. Look at the people that are on top right now. Essentially, CM Punk is 48, John Cena is 48. Gunther can go till he's 48. And he doesn't wrestle a crazy style either, so he may even have a more longevity. If you get a decade of destruction out of this, I have no complaints about Gunther being the guy. If somebody was going to be chosen, I think WWE pitched this perfectly. And this was just so much fun. And that's what wrestling is meant to be. People can't stand this guy. And when we do go from city to city and Gunther continues to be an absolute moron, it's only going to get even better. And I'm sure him and AJ Styles won't touch for a while. But that could now be the WrestleMania match. Like if Gunther can't be involved in the world title stuff, which he also probably should be, because I just think you need to crown him up and turn him into this king of all kings. But retiring AJ Styles, as long as you remind everyone how important AJ Styles was to pro wrestling, because their fans are very recency bias based, that would be absolutely massive. And then if all those rumors about Brock Lesnar retiring at SummerSlam, and Gunther does that as well, that is a generational run. Goldberg, Cena, AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar. Four guys you can argue did absolutely send the industry in, well, more popular directions or different directions, or at least had serious impact. Very exciting, very well done. Would have loved it if there was more of a pushback against Gunther in a, well, now you're screwed, mate, as opposed to, why don't you just leave? I don't know why I didn't like that, but sometimes you don't like things. It certainly does not mean I'm right. That's just how I reacted to it. Otherwise, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I think we have created a new final boss, and I don't believe The Rock's going to be back on TV anytime soon. Give all the power, all the love, shouldn't have said that, all the magic to Gunther. We are right there. Otherwise, it was a CM Punk promo that I thought was fantastic. Now, CM Punk has cut some brilliant promos, especially when he's been in the ring with people like with the Drew McIntyre stuff, and the Cody Rhodes stuff comes to mind, and some of the Seth Rollins stuff too. And there will be one that I'm forgetting because, I haven't sat down there and watched it. There's no time on a Tuesday, there's so much to do. But in terms of just going to the ring and cutting a promo on someone by himself, this could have been Punk's best one. Obviously, he's been offered 2 weeks after the injuries from the War Games, wants to talk about Bron Breakker. There are so many lines here that I'm probably going to forget, but there was it the Nepo Baby one? Something about only having one digit in his brain of an IQ. The really cool stuff is when he started talking about Scott Steiner, Bron Breakker's family, called his uncle stupid, called Scott Steiner a moron as well, called Division a bunch of Poindexters. But then, of course, said once he's done with Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed's going to have to hang out on TikTok with that YouTube scammer. Man, I had a meltdown and fell down. We talked about this before. It felt like it was massively unfair. That was off limits. Maybe it still is, but CM Punk didn't care. Again, you can Google all of this. I'm not going to talk about it because it was a lawsuit and there's legal ramifications and you can get in trouble. But it was just, do I want to use the word wonderful? I don't know. But it is hanging fruit, and I think somebody should have grabbed the fruit, and I love that CM Punk did it. I just thought, it was not only, the wordage was very good, like the verbiage and the lyrics, whatever you want to call the script. It wasn't the script, obviously, but the things he actually said were awesome, but it was the delivery too. Sometimes you can say I was skipping down the road and there was a daisy chain and I picked it up, but if you deliver it in the right way, you go, oh my gosh, that daisy chain, it's going to be the power to all the world. But CM Punk is just one of the best promos ever. He just is. He went in there, he knows he's got a title match in 2 weeks, he knows that Bron Breakker has been talking crap about him for the last couple of Raws too, so he has to balance the books, which he absolutely did before he got his comeuppance at the end of the show in order to continue on that build. It's just something you should watch. It can't be overly long, like 10 minutes, maybe 15 max, but the crowd was into this, and it wasn't a great crowd. I think they had filmed SmackDown for Christmas Day or whatever, or the Christmas period before this, so I guess they were a bit burned out. But Punk just walked out there with that chip on his shoulder, and he just spat fire, and it was just a great way to get you invested in that title match. And again, the heel had been running him down for the past 2 Raws when he hadn't been there, so he didn't come out bat swinging. This would have sucked, especially because he's the world heavyweight champion. And it kind of feels to me this is his first I'm angry at you promo he's cut since he's had that belt. I could be wrong. So yeah, this could have been a real bust if he hadn't created the energy that he did do, but he totally smashed it. I thought this was awesome, and I implore you to go and watch it even if you're not a CM Punk fan, because, well, if you're an up-and-coming wrestler, this is the kind of thing that you need to do. And the fact he did Steiner math as well. What did he say? You're going to find out GTS equals 1, 2, 3, which is a very, very nice line. A little bit cheesy, corny, but once again, it was the way he said it. I don't even have much more I can go into about this. It was just, I keep using this term, why it's in my head, I don't know. It was pitch perfect. It's got me really excited about that match. We will talk about the end of the show next, of course, that we have to. But it's convinced me now that I think Bron Breakker should win. I kind of feel like the John Cena thing has opened the door for fun and shenanigans and madness and craziness. Just give it to Bron Breakker and then have Punk win it back at WrestleMania. I said that to somebody the other day. I said that's in reverse. The young guy should win at WrestleMania, and I do agree with that. But it kind of feels to me like WWE enjoys the babyface winning, especially because Cena won at WrestleMania 41, which kind of left a bad taste in people's mouths. I wouldn't mind it as long as, well, what you could do, I think we talked about this on the Let's Predict WrestleMania 42 too early, is that Bron Breakker could absolutely crush CM Punk on that first episode of Raw. Then CM Punk has to rebuild himself before he gets his belt back at WrestleMania. And I do think Bron Breakker would benefit from that. Like, you can lose. You just have to make sure you tell the right story. I have not got all the great lines in here, but he had so many good ones. And again, he genuinely looked pissed off, right? He looked totally mad. I really, really enjoyed this. And I think based on the fact we had that stuff with Gunther and I reacted to it, then we got here and I reacted to it in a different way because we got a babyface. You could even do CM Punk versus Gunther again. And CM Punk did beat him at SummerSlam, so Gunther getting the win over here wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Couple of thumbs. Once again, no notes. He's pretty flipping good. But yes, end of the show is our third reveal, I suppose. It was Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. I've said it once, I'll say it twice. I'm never going to be able to justify this in my head. I just hold Rey Mysterio in too high regard. And listen, I don't mind Logan Paul beating him, really. But the geek side of me is like, that shouldn't happen. It's happened twice now. But essentially, Paul Heyman tries to give him the brass knucks. Rey Mysterio's too smart. He's about to win. Out comes the Masked Man. He attacks Rey Mysterio. Logan Paul hits the front splash of the frogs. 1, 2, 3. CM Punk then, well, he's kind of already there, but he's running out to try and help when he chased away the Masked Man. And the Masked Man revealed himself to be Austin Theory, who now looks like Hayden Christian. From Star Wars. I don't know why that's what I thought. Somebody else said Justin Timberlake. I think that's fair too. He shaved his head essentially. He's got a different sort of a beard. I thought Austin Theory got a good reaction here. Saw some people saying they didn't think he did. I think people knew who he was. I'm kind of torn on it like Natalie and Brudia because I think he works in the Vision for sure. But deep down in my gut, I think that he's actually going to properly connect in the way WWE want him to when he becomes a babyface. Go and find Austin Theory. That can't be his real name. Whatever his real name is in the real world. Kind of goofy. Kind of how he was in The Way back in NXT. I think we should lean into that more. I think sometimes you can want someone to be a certain way, but if they're just not, kind of go, well, let's bring out your real personality. But I could be totally wrong. As I said on Ups and Downs too, it is better than chasing after a golden egg. If you're a brand new wrestling fan, you're like, what? You can Google this right now. That's what we thought was going to get him over a few years ago. And that allows Bron Breakker to totally wham CM Punk, and he shouts in his face, if you ever talk about my family again, I'll break your legs. That worked as well, because again, CM Punk cuts the big promo. Bron Breakker the Hill makes sure he gets his own back. And no one is really standing on ceremony here, right? Because next week, it could be a Punk or Bron Breakker who's got one up on the other one, and then we head into 2026. I think WWE should leave this ambiguous as possible, because that's going to make the match more interesting, and I totally think Bron Breakker could win. Or at least that's the feeling that we should have in our Tootsie Toes. We should believe, don't care that he's young, he's proven for the last 2 years now he's good to go. And the promos he has cut over the last 2 weeks, and what he's doing with Punk here, like he's trading blow for blow with the guy. It's not like he attacked CM Punk and was, oh, that was lame, he shouldn't have done that. And now I'm like, oh man, this Bron Breakker. Austin Theory, of course, the two things with Austin Theory, I didn't like the reveal from a literal point of view. I think he should have done it in the ring before running away. Doing it in the crowd, for me, took something away from it. A minor detail. And of course, having Logan Paul look surprised and Paul Heyman look surprised and Bron Breakker, CM Punk being the focus kind of made him feel like a third wheel, but we'll wait and see next week. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here. There was this kind of idea that the Vision didn't know that he was going to be in there. Saw one theory that maybe he's going to be Seth Rollins' guy. I mean, he could be. He did attack CM Punk, who Seth Rollins hates, but I don't think he would help the Vision because the Vision turned on Seth Rollins. I think essentially he should be in the group because Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, Bron Breakker, and Logan Paul, I mean, they're the people that WWE sees as stars, whether you like it or not. So sure, they should all be under Paul Heyman's tutelage, given that Seth Rollins has gone away and no one is really the leader, although if Bron Breakker becomes a champion, it can be him. Bronson Reed needs a feud, though. He's not really doing anything right now, but I don't mind it at all. And I really hope Austin Theory works this time. I think there's just something about him. I understand why WWE keeps trying. We just need to unlock what the package is. But a good end to Raw, I thought. Like, there was a reveal, which is fun. I think you probably could have eked it out a couple more weeks, but I'm sure there's a reason for doing this. It was all who we thought it was. You're not allowed to complain, by the way. Well, you can do whatever you want. But if you have gone online and let it be spoiled for you that it's Austin Theory, and then you go, it's so obvious, that's on you. There is no way if you were just watching the program and you were ignoring online chat that you would have known this was Austin Theory. He hasn't been on the TV in over a year. Grayson Waller should be annoyed about this, by the way. So that is, I think, an issue that we do have, is that you spoil it for yourself and then you get mad at the spoiler. It's a bit like the World Cup's coming up, right? England football fans convince themselves that England are going to win, and then they don't meet their expectations, they get mad. It's like, well, no. Anyway, it's a different story for a different day. It doesn't always work like that. I like the idea of Austin Theory in the Vision. I like that we did here. I did think the ripping off of the hood could have been done better. Doing it in the crowd to me always is a bit fuzzy-wuzzy, but it's such a minor detail. It doesn't matter. And now CM Punk is going to have to get some friends. I have no idea who that's going to be. CM Punk doesn't have any friends. It can't be Cody Rhodes right now. It'll be interesting. We'll wait and see. But I like these two bits. I like the Punk promo. I like the Gunther stuff. It ended interestingly. And I think they were the three highlights of Raw. Otherwise, New Day versus the Usos, really fun tag match. I really do think this is a vehicle just to turn Jey Uso, not necessarily heel, but we're going to do something with him. I think they'll get to the tag title match because Jey and Jimmy won here, and it will be Jey that screws up. I don't think we've forgotten about the fact he's a lunatic these days, which is good. I find it very interesting, and I love this match. The nostalgia sent me crazy. I thought it was really, really fun. Maxine Dupree versus Ivy Nile. I thought Maxine Dupree did really well. That sounds patronising, but I mean that in a positive way because we have seen her grow in front of our eyes, right? She has had some matches where it's a bit wibbly-wobbly, and then she has other matches where you can tell that she is training. This really cool kip-up at one point. There was like a Matrix thing. And the ankle lock she put on too. Ivy Nile and her had this awesome sort of transition movement to it after Maxine had pulled down the straps. I did think the crowd was quiet here as well, mostly because of those extra tapings. But I think whoever Maxine feuds with next, we need promos and we need story. This really was Ivy Nile being like, well, I'd like a title shot. Maxine Dupree, you can have whatever title shot you want. I just need 2 weeks of training. I just think the emotional thing is so important, especially in WWE. And Maxine Dupree has a great character. It doesn't need to be the best promo in the world because I think, I hate this term, if you're enjoying her journey and you are seeing her improve, it's a bit like she's your Pokemon and she's evolving in front of your eyes. And Ivy Nile hasn't been on TV for so long and hasn't won a singles match since 2024. So there's nothing wrong with this. It was a good match. It did what it had to do in order to give Maxine Dupree a win. I just think that Intercontinental title shone earlier in the year when we had the story with Lyra, we had the story with Becky, and we had the story with Bayley. So we shouldn't move away from that. The Bayley and Lyra stuff is also weird. Like Bayley was having a moment where she was sad because Oscar had yelled at her. So Lyra yelled at Bayley. Now Bayley's going to beat Roxanne Perez next week. I was like, how many times are Bayley, Lyra, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez going to go around the houses? And actually, given that Raquel has come up, I did not like this. Because I had no problem with Raquel versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's Championship. It was once again Geeth's title shot, which kind of gets to me. But Nikki Bella just ran in to cause the disqualification. And I know this makes sense given what happened last week. Of course she'd be mad at Raquel who tried to kill her and she doesn't like Stephanie Vaquer. But it just kind of feels like WWE does this all the time. And when you do get it, I just feel disappointed. And not disappointment in like, oh, that damn you, Nikki Bella. It's like, man, what was the point of even doing the match? You may as well just had Stephanie Vaquer cut a promo. At least then she can get more experience doing that, which I don't say she needs because I like the way she cuts promos, but you know, reps. That's what wrestling is all about. But here you just finished, and I guess we'll do a 3-way on that first episode of Raw. And I like Nikki Bella as a heel. I think Raquel Rodriguez had a great year. She's come on leaps and bounds. I suppose it's because Stephanie McMahon is the Raw Women's Champion. And it kind of feels like what Jade is doing. Like, doesn't get much time, disqualifications, shenanigans. No one really benefits from doing any of this. And Nikki Bella cuts a promo later and says, you do not respect what I've done for this division, which may be true, even though I'm pretty sure Stephanie Vaquer gave her a hug once and said, man, you've done so much for me. And I really appreciate it. It just needs more. But maybe I'm being unfair there, I don't know. But it doesn't get me excited. I think Stephanie Vaquer is less over now than she was because we're not sort of tying into the same things that we were doing a few months ago. Maybe I'm wrong there, though. I'm happy to defer to you on that one, and you can let me know in those flipping comments. Other things I am excited about is that Javon Evans is taking on one of the El Grande Americanos next week, which he can beat, by the way. It's either number 2 or 3. I don't know which one. I think maybe WWE's realised he can pull double duty. As long as Javon is cool with this, he's clearly going to have a feud with Ricky Saints in NXT. I think that needs to go that long. I would actually try and wrap that up within a month's cycle and then just put him on Raw or SmackDown permanently. But they are keeping him on the main roster, I would believe. And if he beats an El Grande Americano, I don't think he should vanish. So that's good. And actually, Javon has load of independent wrestling experience anyway. But he's still a young dude, so the more matches that he can get, especially in front of different crowds with different people, is only going to improve him more. So I've got no problem with that either. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee insinuated they'd like a match with the Usos, I believe. I don't think they said their names, but you'd have to imagine it's going in that direction because during the New Day Usos match, that's all the commentators were talking about. And did anything else happen on this show? I mean, there was a meeting between Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce about the Masked Man, I think, to tell you that that was the direction they were going in. But I think we've hit the major beats there. It was a good episode of Raw because it did have those 3 big moments that I thought were very, very compelling. And I'm sure that loads of people tuned in going, what are we going to do with a John Cena? I have no idea. I don't know why you're Italian if you watch this. But I did enjoy myself. I think Gunther set the scene, set the table very well. And I was excited to see where else we're going to go with it. And again, we got a reveal with Austin Theory. CM Punk cut one hell of a promo. That feels like a good main event that we are headed towards. We wait and see. I think that's the main thing. I think another issue I did have is that Dominic Mysterio popped up to talk about the fact he had beat John Cena. And there was a backstage thing where Liv Morgan was like, I'm definitely going to screw you all. That was my take. But Dominic Mysterio not having the same kind of fallout that Gunther is having. He did beat John Cena, and he just cut a random promo here. It kind of felt like a Netflix promo, so maybe you didn't even see it. I really think we need to lean into the fact that he's the Intercontinental Champion too. He needs to get into a proper feud. Even that's stopping the Judgment Day and doing the Finn Balor thing. Also, JD McDonough had surgery, so all the best to that guy. But yeah, we need to do more of that IC title belt. I think it ends the year with less momentum it did at the start of the year. And again, it was Gunther a couple of years ago that put that secret sauce onto it. So I hope we can sort that out too. That is actually a little bit of a problem, to be honest with you. It's Dominic Mysterio. We should be doing more. But that was it. That was Raw. I did have a good old time this week, so now I'd implore you to let me know, did you have a good time or did you think it sucked? I know that Gunther thing sent people all over the place, so let me know. Drop me a comment. Otherwise, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. You can also go to patreon.com like we've talked about, or grillamine.com/Simon. They've got Christmas sale on right now. Use my code Simon to get loads of money off, and it ships worldwide. Simon316 on social media. Come call me an idiot, and then go to TikTok to see my funny wrestling videos. That's what you should do. Cameo if you would like a holiday message, doing loads at the moment, which I just find fun. I don't know why. And it's pro wrestling tees for merchandise. Have a terrific day, my friends. What an amazing weekend it's been, right? Whether you were happy, whether you're sad, at least wrestling made you feel something. I'll see you in the week.